They came at sunrise. The colony of Haven's Dawn had no military presence, just families, scientists, and farmers beneath a pale blue sky. The air shimmered with the hum of harvest drones and laughter carried from the fields. For 70 years, humanity had spread peacefully through the stars, settling worlds not for conquest, but for life. Then the sky burned. The Zorath Dominion descended like gods of fire. Their warships blotted out the sun, descending through the atmosphere in precise, predatory silence. They did not demand surrender. They did not issue warnings. They simply opened fire. Orbital strikes lanced downward, turning oceans to steam and forests to ash. Children ran as plasma rained from the heavens, the earth boiling beneath their feet. Cities vanished in seconds. Millions died before the emergency beacons could finish transmitting. And then came the broadcast. The Zorath warlord appeared across the human comm networks. Tall, scaled, eyes like molten gold. His voice was calm, almost amused. You expand without permission. You speak without reverence. You pollute the void with your noise. This is your warning. You will fall silent or we will silence you. The feed cut out. The screams did not. The Dominion left as quickly as they arrived, leaving behind nothing but glassed earth and orbiting debris. A dead world glowing faintly in the dark. The Galactic Council, those ancient species who had long judged humanity's reckless curiosity, sent their condolences. But no aid. The message was clear. Humanity was to stay quiet, stay small, stay afraid. But something ancient stirred in that silence. The mockery of the Dominion. Crossed the stars. The Zorath celebrated. To them, the extermination of Haven's Dawn was a lesson, a display of dominance to remind the younger species of their place. The warlord Vrax Thul sat upon a throne of alloyed bone. His generals gathered in laughter around a holographic image of the ruined human colony. They think themselves bold, one hissed, tail flicking lazily. So loud, so eager to spread, yet a single strike turned their pride to dust. They call themselves human, another sneered. I call them fragile. They break easily. Even the council remained silent, unwilling to challenge the Dominion's brutality. Reports trickled in from Zorath informants embedded among the human sectors. Earth's transmissions had gone quiet. No diplomatic responses, no fleet movements, no retaliation, just silence. The Dominion interpreted it as submission. See? Vrax Thul declared before the gathered warlords. They know their place now. The primates have learned fear. Their world burns, and they whisper prayers instead of vengeance. He raised his chalice in mock toast to the silence of earth. Laughter echoed through the hall, a sound that would one day haunt their descendants, because far away, beneath the quiet blue glow of Earth's moon, humanity was listening. The silence before the roar for 37 days. The United Terran Command said nothing. The galactic networks buzzed with speculation, fear, pity, mockery. Humanity's silence stretched longer than any had expected. Civilian channels went dark. Merchant fleets were recalled. No messages entered or left Sol. Then on the 38th day, the stars around Earth began to dim. Telescopes across the galaxy caught sight of movement. Massive constructs rising from the lunar shipyards, their hulls bristling with weapon ports and black armor that absorbed starlight. Entire asteroid belts were hollowed, engines igniting. Old war designs, thought to have been mothballed after the first expansion wars, were being reactivated and rebuilt in new forms. The Earth defense network was no longer defensive, and the silence wasn't submission. It was preparation. Within the command chambers of the Terran Alliance, Admiral Sarah Imani stood before a holomap displaying the Zorath sectors. She'd once been an explorer, now turned executioner. They wanted us silent, she said, her voice low, steady. They'll hear what silence sounds like when it ends. The orders went out. Every surviving fleet, every colony, every shipyard answered. They called it Operation Thunderwake. The first human transmission in over a month pulsed through subspace in all directions. One single message, broadcast in hundreds of languages. To the Zorath Dominion, you took one world. We are taking everything else. The message ended with coordinates, the precise location of the Zorath war capital. It was not a threat. It was a promise, and when the fleets departed, their engines ignited not with flame, but with fury. The roar of humanity. The Dominion's outer colonies never saw them coming. Human ships emerged from subspace without warning. Their drives refined beyond known limits. Their weapons unlike anything recorded in the Council's archives. They didn't send envoys. They didn't demand surrender. They arrived in silence, and then they roared. Kinetic bombardments shattered moons into rings. Orbital platforms crumbled under precision strikes. Troop carriers disgorged legions of armored infantry, the Void Marines, their black exosuits gleaming beneath alien suns. They advanced through the ruins with ruthless coordination, reclaiming survivors, rescuing captives, and annihilating resistance. On one world, Zorath commanders tried broadcasting for mercy. The reply was a human voice, distorted by comm interference, cold and devoid of emotion. Mercy died on Haven's Dawn. Within weeks, 7 Zorath strongholds were reduced to cinders. Planetary defense grids melted under bombardment. Entire fleets vanished in hyperspace ambushes, replaced by static and silence. Human ships began transmitting a new signal across captured frequencies, a low-frequency pulse that spread through the Dominion's communication web. It carried no words, no encryption, just a single sound, a deep, resonant roar. At first, the Zorath thought it was interference. Then they realized it came from every direction, echoing through their systems like the growl of a coming storm. The fall of Vrax-Thultho. Dominion gathered what remained of its fleets near their homeworld, Vraxkor, a fortress planet encased in energy shields and orbital guns. The warlord Vrax-Thul watched as the human armada emerged from subspace in perfect formation. Hundreds of dreadnoughts, their hulls black and glinting like obsidian. Each bore the mark of Earth, the blue-white emblem of a rising sun above a broken chain. Primitive craft, one of his generals spat. They cannot match our strength. But then the first human dreadnought opened fire. It wasn't plasma. It wasn't lasers. It was something new. Mass driver slugs, accelerated to near-light speeds by magnetic rails the size of mountains. The slugs didn't explode. They erased. The shields collapsed instantly. Orbiting stations vaporized in silence, one by one, as the kinetic impacts tore through the planet's defenses. The Zorath fired back, their weaponry flaring across the void. But the human ships kept advancing, undeterred. They fired in rhythmic waves, each volley synchronized, each shot deliberate. Vrax-Thul screamed orders, his voice cracking with rage. They defy the Dominion. They will drown in their own blood. His command ship shuddered as a human torpedo, sleek, silent, unstoppable, pierced the hull and detonated deep within. The explosion turned night into dawn. As his bridge burned, Vrax-Thul staggered toward the viewport. Outside, the sky was filled with light. Hundreds of human ships, their engines blazing like the wrath of gods. "You should have stayed silent," he gasped. A human voice crackled through the comm. Calm, cold, and final. We were. Then the connection ended. So did the Dominion. The bombardment that followed was the most devastating in galactic history. Oceans boiled, continents split. The world that once ruled 1,000 systems became a cratered husk. The roar of human vengeance echoed through every corner of known space. The aftermath of wrath. When the silence returned, it was different. The Zorath were gone, their empire shattered, their name reduced to a curse whispered by smugglers and refugees. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, faces pale, voices trembling. None dared condemn humanity's retribution. None dared speak the word justice. Instead, they issued new protocols. Silent treaties ensuring that no species would ever again attack a human world, or risk awakening the roar. Because the sound still lingered, the human signal, that low, bone-shaking roar, continued to pulse faintly across the void. It had become part of the cosmic background noise, a permanent reminder that Earth's patience had limits. In the wreckage of Vraxkor, Terran forces found a recording, one of the last transmissions sent from the Dominion's capital before it fell. It contained the voice of a Zorath civilian, terrified, whispering to a comrade as the sky burned. They said the humans would be quiet, but all I hear is thunder. The lesson of the stars decades passed. Humanity rebuilt Haven's Dawn. They renamed it Reclamation. The soil was restored. The rivers ran clear again. On the planet's surface, a monument rose, a pillar of black stone inscribed with the names of the lost, and beneath them, a single line. They wanted our silence. They heard our roar. New species came to visit, timid, respectful, their diplomats careful with every word. They brought gifts, treaties, and apologies for old sins. Humanity accepted them, not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty of those who had earned their peace. Because the lesson had been written in fire. Humanity is slow to anger, but impossible to stop once roused. They are builders who can become destroyers, explorers who can become executioners, and when the galaxy listens now, it listens carefully. For somewhere, deep in the void, Earth still watches, still listens, still waits.